Capabilities are not an accumulation of know-how that is allowed to pile up, and organizations, particularly that end up with high levels of legacy thinking, are those that do not ask the question on the relevance of the capabilities they have, and particularly whether they are deploying them in the right way. Organizations that allow inertia to set in are those who have large heaps of capabilities that are defunct, that are obsolete, that are based on old thinking, and that add to the rigidity and inflexibility of the organization to adapt in the modern era. The digital world calls for fast responsiveness, flexibility, adaptability, agility. At the core, organizations are expected to respond by reconfiguring and even redesigning on an incremental basis, as much as considering the whole design and renewal of the business model itself. They have no choice but to be lean, to be ready to preempt what might happen, and to respond accordingly with the speed of light, but also with high levels of readiness, preparedness, and ability to compete. And the question that is to be asked, therefore, is whether there is a smart approach to managing capabilities in the modern era, and particularly to avoid the accumulation of obsolescence and to avoid legacies that impede progress and that could hamper the ability of an organization to adapt in the modern era. As a starting point, the capabilities management approach is one that is based on 4 Ds: define, deploy, develop, and differentiate. Organizations must use this dynamic ethos all the time by defining the capabilities that they would require to drive their core activities, and particularly those that are in line with modern thinking. They have to ensure that they are developing them in the right way, using a systematic approach, but using one approach that is based on agile response, customer orientation, ability to absorb new innovations, and to enrich value creation by designing and developing capabilities in the right methods. The deployment process is another critical aspect where organizations must, each time value creation starts, to ask the questions as to which are the capabilities that are required at any particular point in time, how will they work in harmony, and whether there is sufficient distinctiveness to drive and deliver value at an optimum level, a level that is expected from the end customer and one that impacts significantly. In many ways, and particularly with commoditization and the need for replenishing customer needs all the time and to continue to provide unique and memorable experiences, organizations may sometimes have to leverage externally by seeking expertise levels that may be deficient within the organization, or maybe at an infancy level. So the question is whether organizations can build enough maturity to move gradually from what is referred to as the static or predictable operational mindset to a desirable mindset of dynamic operations based on ecosystem, on connectivity, on preemption and anticipation, and on an agile responsive, adaptable mindset. This requires a nomenclature of capabilities and their classifications, starting with a traditional mindset of what can be referred to as the resource-oriented approach to capability management, which is very much associated with the management of physical resources, whether it's financial resources, human resources, knowledge resources, or technology resources. This, which used to be optimal in the classical context of closed system behavior, is no longer optimal and is baseline. And in many instances, organizations that are deeply driven by digital transformation, they phase out resource-based capabilities through third parties and use outsourcing significantly. Another level of this suggested nomenclature is process and systems oriented based capabilities. This is very much about the structure and the systems that drive value creation. Having a process-centric organization is still valuable and critical. Managing through quality assurance and optimization and foolproofing using international standards is still valid and relevant, and using multidisciplinarity for driving value creation by building horizontally based structures that are looking towards the customer as opposed to hierarchies and bureaucratic organizational structure that are inward looking, that are silo based, and that hamper any progress to deliver to the end customer. The third aspect of the nomenclature is innovation and transformation based capabilities. It is important that in the modern era, every organization must have innovativeness capability to drive the value it seeks to create for its stakeholders. It is also important that using digital infrastructure is not just a mere automation-based effort, but rather it is to inject intelligence in the form of using big data, introducing advanced analytics, understanding better the dynamicity of the ecosystem, and enriching the decision-making process. So the insight that is built internally is one that will help organizations get close to their customers and gain high levels of intimacy for understanding current, future, and even unspoken needs. And the third aspect is to use innovation and transformation for creating an open system rich with connectivity, allowing collaboration to take place at various levels for value creation, including even a proactive engagement approach of customers through co-creation, for example. The more connected an organization is, the more it behaves as an open, dynamic system, the more likely it is going to guarantee its future sustainability. At the pinnacle, organizations that reach the dynamic and disruptive level are those that continuously push themselves to the limits by being at the frontiers of implementing advanced technological solutions and transforming the thinking by creating new models of value delivery. They are the ones that have agility at the core, and they use strategic direction to guide the future as much as to deliver the present. They are also organizations that are always ready for transformation and welcome disruptive behavior for continuing the path of excellence and protecting the level of competitiveness that the organization seeks to attain. They are organizations that are highly adaptable, resilient, and constantly renewing themselves in order to remain relevant and also to protect the purpose-oriented philosophy they started with perhaps many years previously. And they are using advanced analytics for predicting the path of the future and taking the future as core in their strategic direction and not a desirable, vague, elusive set of ambitions that they would like to pursue. Altogether, the management of capabilities in a dynamic context is about enriching the organization by what can be referred to a process of constant learning, development, experimentation, evaluation, validation, in order to continue to create limitless possibilities with the end pursuit of achieving distinctiveness in specific know-how. So in a sense, rather than adding to the level of obsolescence and creating larger heaps of redundant, old school based ideas, the modern organization can enrich itself by weighing the significance of the capabilities that it seeks to develop and deploy, and in a way that can be referred to as adding to the pot, but only weight of gold, which is what is necessary, what is required for the future, what will help deliver the present, and using the continuously driven cycle for being able to continuously shape the future with confidence, to continuously maintain the course by being customer-centric, to continuously create higher levels of confidence from leadership who are at the helm and who need to make the right decisions, and by supplying them with better and bigger insight, and to continuously create value through replenishment and through proactive customer involvement. It is important that the organization of the future is one that continues to engage its internal customers, or its human capital engagement is critical for its future success, and employees are the ones who impact ultimately on customer happiness. And the overall achievement is an organization that impact all of its critical and core results with modernizing, changing, and innovating with a digital infrastructure enablement. In the end, the smart approach to capability management is a balance of what needs to be maintained in order to ensure operational excellence and what needs to be defined, developed, and deployed in order to deliver competitive excellence. The basic capabilities are ones that have the least impact, and they are the ones who are baseline, and they are the ones who can be subjected to third-party provision through outsourcing. Essential capabilities are the capabilities that are expected for any organization to have in order to drive its core and most critical activities. They are the norm, they are the industry standard, they are based on best practice, they are benchmarked all the time, but they are the ones that are found in similar organizations that have good quality standards organizations that can consider consistency, reliability, durability, maintainability, and dependability. The capabilities that drive excellence in the context of the digital age are the distinctive ones that are very hard to emulate and copy, and they are the ones that drive innovation and value creation. And the ultimate are what can be referred to as advantage capabilities, the ones that help reconfigure the organization, help it with disruption, and particularly capabilities that can help shape the future and create business models for the future.